welcome to the January Commission on Aging meeting. Thank you everyone for coming today. We have a relatively short agenda today, so TV 79 might have a 15-minute to a 30-minute program. We'll see how it goes. In any event, our first order of business is the December minutes. Does anybody have any questions, changes to the December minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you. Second? All in favor? Aye. Awesome. And now, our Commission on Aging, Human Services and Matters Center report. Allie couldn't be here today, so I've got it. Thanks to our secretary. I will read it just pretend I'm Allie. This year, a total of 48 seniors and 51 families were adopted for the holidays by generous members of the community, compared to 58 seniors and 46 families last year. Once again, we were overwhelmed by the level of community support from individuals, families, groups, and organizations. In addition to the adoption program, many residents have also donated gift cards or items from our Amazon wish list. Our department and the clients we serve are deeply grateful for all of the generous donations. Moving on to mental health first aid. We are in the process of planning a mental health first aid MHFA training on February 3rd and 4th from 8:30 to 1 each day. This course is designed to give members of the public key skills to help someone who is developing a mental health problem or experiencing a mental health crisis. Like CPR training helps a non-medical professional assist an individual following a heart attack, mental health first aid training helps an individual who doesn't have clinical training assist someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Allie Ramstek is currently the only MHFA trained instructor in Darien. She will co-lead the training with Marcy Rand, Director of New Canaan Human Services, who is the only MHFA trained instructor in New Canaan. MHFA guidelines require each training to be led by 2 certified instructors. This training will take place in New Canaan. To register, please email Allie at aremstek@darienct.gov. That's A-R-A, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, E as in Edward, C as in Cat, K as in Kite @darienct.gov. Our next MHFA training will be held in Darien. Low Income Energy Assistance Program. We continue to accept applications for the 2025 and 2026 Energy Assistance Program. Residents who heat with oil will have until March 18th to apply, while those with utility heated homes have until May 15th. This program helps supplement energy costs for residents experiencing financial hardship. Income limits apply. For the 25-2026 program year, the income limit is $47,764 for a single person household and $91,854 for a household of 4. Emergency call list. The staff of Darien Human Services maintains an emergency call list of vulnerable seniors and individuals with disabilities to be contacted before and after storms or town-wide emergencies. We currently have nearly 100 residents on this list. We encourage any individual who is vulnerable or who has medical conditions that may increase vulnerability during an emergency to contact Darien Human Services at 203-656-7328 to have their name added. Editorial comment from the chair: we're expecting a big storm on Sunday, so if you are someone who may need this service, please call Darien Human Services 203-656-7328 during the weekday hours, I assume up until Friday. Medical loan closet. A record 44 households used the loan closet this past quarter. 13 of them had never used this service before. The residents appreciate this convenient resource. And that ends the Human Services report. Now for the Matters Center report. We are grateful to everyone who helped make our Thanksgiving and holiday luncheons such a success. Town leaders and staff assisted in serving more than 130 members at each event. Chef Judy once again provided festive, delicious, and beautifully prepared meals. Woodshop. Please note that the woodshop is closed until further notice. We appreciate your patience while we assess safety and maintenance of the facility. Pay at the front desk. We may have some comments about that later. We'll talk about that. Pay at the front desk before class. Beginning February 2, all members who pay instructors directly for fitness or art classes will be asked to complete payment at the front desk prior to the start of class. This change helps ensure a smooth and organized check-in process for everyone. Thank you for your cooperation and continued participation in our programs. We truly appreciate it. Matter of balance. Matter of Balance, an award-winning 8-week program, helps participants manage fall risks and builds confidence through increased activity. This course covers how to view falls as controllable, set realistic activity goals, reduce fall hazards at home, and practice exercises that improve strength and balance. Thanks to our partnership with Fairfield University School of Nursing and Health Studies, this program is offered at no cost to Darien Senior Programs members. Class size is limited to 12 and fills quickly. To register or to learn more, call 203-656-7490. Program dates are February 3rd, 10th, and 24th, March 3rd, 17th, 24th, and 31st, April 7th and April 14th. The times go from 10 to noon. A new class. Eccentrics Fitness class begins Tuesday, January 13th from 9 to 10 at 5 o'clock at $5 per class. June Bird will be teaching a weekly essentials class at the Matter Center. Eccentrics is a gentle, full-body workout that combines stretching and strengthening to improve mobility, posture, and flexibility, and is great for health and well-being. She then lists a whole bunch of statistics and everything else here, which I will put into the minutes, because right now my mouth is getting dry reading the entire report, so I give Ally a lot of credit. I heard. What about? Do you know anything about the wood shop? What I saw.
There's some safety issues that they're concerned about, like the eye wash and the vacuum system.
Okay.
They want to take care of that. I'm hoping that it's taken care of shortly, because we have a lot of work in there from people that have brought chairs in that are asking me when their chairs are going to be done. So I'm hoping that it gets resolved shortly.
Right, and especially because I know that the major is one of the major things that draws guys to the Mather Center.
Yeah.
So that's a huge factor.
You're right.
So
Who found the problems?
Liz came in and asked us how things were going, and we just pointed out a few things, and they decided to shut the whole thing down.
So these were conditions that you yourselves were aware of?
Yes.
okay, we'll keep the tabs on it. Hopefully it'll be solved by the next meeting. If not, we've got to think about what we do to push people to make sure it does get done.
Okay.
Fair enough. I don't want to rattle any cages while they're still working on it, but if in fact it becomes a long-term thing for the February meeting, we definitely want to jump on that and
And
say.
it brings in quite a bit of money for the center too.
Right. Okay, that's great. Awesome. Thank you for letting us know, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other comments on either the Mather Center or the Human Services report? Nope, great. So if you have any, hold them for February. That's what I was going to say anyway, and ask Callie. So that'll be great. Perfect. Old business. Peter, what you got for us?
Just to, you talked about the closet. Wheel It Forward, who, as you know, really has set this whole program up. I was talking to Elliot Sloyo last week, and they are losing their 3,000 square foot facility in Stamford. The business that owns it needs it for something else, so he's going to be looking for another 3,000 square foot. He has a couple of ideas there. The program is growing incredibly well. They have a huge warehouse now in Bridgeport. They've just opened one in Newtown. And so, again, working in partnership with our town closets to provide more service. In fact, at a meeting, they were asked about even a bed. And somebody said, well, they wouldn't take a bed. And he said, yes, we do take beds. In other words, they will take beds, they won't take mattresses. But some of these medical equipment beds are quite large, and they repair them, and then they put them back in service. So it's an amazing program. So, yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully find some good space soon.
A few other things. Tax aid starts next Monday. So on January 26th, at the Darien Library, Simplify Connecticut, and AARP and VITA will start the tax aid program. We expect it to be quite active. The Darien Library sites will be open Monday, Friday, and Saturday, as they were last year, and then various sites in Stamford as well, including the one on the Weed Branch on Hope Street on Saturday, so. And it's going to be a little bit more complicated this year because the state deductions do not match the federal deductions. So, for example, incomes and tips and wages, it's going to be a lot more difficult in a way to explain to people the difference between what they're allowed on the federal level and what they're not allowed on the state level. So again, I encourage anybody watching Channel 79, go on the AARP website, type in your zip code, or call or send a note to the Darien Library and get on the registration program. I want to talk about what's now called COAC, the Commissions on Aging for the state of Connecticut, which is, they're using the abbreviation COACT. We had an initial meeting. I'm on the steering committee still. We had an initial meeting on Friday, January the 16th. There were 59 participants, there were 59 towns, and there were 68 participants in a 2-hour Zoom meeting. And where they looked at, and they definitely want this program going forward to provide commissions on aging, the members or people in senior centers, again, people involved with senior programs. And there's really, the topics were data and information, and important because towns can then look at what they have and compare it to what other towns in the state has or what national benchmarks are. Housing for seniors, taxation issues for seniors, medical benefits for seniors. A number of towns are struggling with trying to establish or improve their senior centers, and that's an issue. And then essentially the role of the commission in the community, its visibility. And one of the interesting discussions that I listened to was a number of these folks said that in every town they know the cost per pupil in school. And we know, for example, in Darien, I believe it's $26,000 per pupil. They said, well, what's the cost of support of seniors in communities? And it is practically non-existent. So communities do not look at that aging segment of the population and say, how much money do we as a community devote to this? And it could be, the feeling is they're not devoting very much money to it. Again, Joe, we went through this years ago and trying to figure out the revenue input of seniors to what their demands on the town are. But it's a program that there are a lot of people interested in. So
Great.
So again, commission members are welcome to it. It's not for commission chairs necessarily. There are a couple of commission chairs that aren't part of this program, but it is something that is going to be moving forward.
Great.
AARP. There's three issues. One of them came up very recently, and that's facial recognition in supermarkets. It was discovered now that supermarkets are using facial recognition, which is really a violation of privacy. Senator Duff and other members of the legislature are going to jump on it, and they're going to see what they can do about it. And the point being, they looked at a couple of stores, and a couple of stores had small signs in their door that said, we are using facial scanning. They feel, and I believe they're correct, that it's really invasion of privacy.
Facial scanning to what end? For crime or?
To improve their marketing, to look at their pricing so that they can figure out, for example, if they're, I'm speculating now because I'm on Channel 79, I'm speculating, but if you're in a community where you have maybe more upscale demographics, and maybe you can see who those people are, you might be adjusting your prices to the supermarkets. Yeah. They will say it's possibly for security, but they're using it for all different kinds of things. And as I said, Senator Duff and a number of other legislators, rightly so, are not very happy with it. Feel it is really an invasion of privacy, particularly how, and the store will say, well, there's a sign on the door, and there may be a sign on the big supermarket door that's maybe, the size of an index card or 4 by 6. So it's not really something that's promoted.
So there are cameras that are,
Yeah,
as you come in, or?
Yeah.
Yes, wow.
So they're already tracking you, majority
They are
of
already
people,
you're right,
with your
Chris.
frequent reward programs,
Yeah,
and they know everything you
exactly
bought
right.
and everything, but they're probably trying to complement that with people who aren't tied into those programs, so
Yeah.
they have a sense of everybody who walked through that door and, and can remarket to them.
Gets worse, it gets way worse than that.
Well,
okay?
they-
Because they're going to basically watch you as you go through the store. They're gonna look to you, well, okay, you stopped and looked at the Cheerios, but you didn't buy the Cheerios, you bought something else,
Yeah.
okay? And all of that is being tracked to the point of where they can change even the shelves to do a better job of selling to you. And of course, facial recognition technology also allows them to identify exactly who you are, your home address.
Yeah.
And even if you're paying with cash, you will now get marketing to your home address for those Cheerios and go, you really should have bought those Cheerios. And so it
Yeah.
really is, at the end of the day, it's 1984 writ large,
Yeah.
okay? And so
Yeah.
the question's going to be, how much can we push back on that kind of technology? You were about to say something, Jim?
Well, simply put, it's not, facial scanning in and of itself is not illegal. What's illegal is the use of the data. You can use facial scanning for security purposes, but that's it. And what they're finding out is that the uses of the data and the information, which is really the only reason the stores are interested in doing it, is what's in violation. And that's the issue, because you then tie that in with AI, and, I mean, it's gonna make telephone marketing look minor. But you have to be clear that just because it says it has a surveillance camera, that can be legal.
Peter, did they give you a sense of how pervasive it is already?
They're finding it in some of the big supermarket chains, Chris.
Yeah.
There was an article,
I think it was in the Advocate.
last week or 2 weeks ago in the Advocate.
Oh, was it? I missed that.
Yeah, Tong and somebody else, I
Right.
believe, are already involved in it. And that's why I was mentioning what they're talking about is it's in violation of the use of the data. And I think either the laws or whatever exist that say you can't use it for those things. And what they're finding out is that's exactly what they're doing. But again, I'm not sure the
And
extent.
even the simpler thing is to make the customer aware of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't hide it, don't disguise
Yeah,
it,
don't have-
make aware of it. Smile, you're on camera.
Yeah. Yeah, all of the time you're here.
If you want a taste of it, just go onto social media and
Yeah.
click on something you might think about buying.
Yeah, yeah.
Making it more fun is click on something you would never consider buying and seeing how many ads you then get for whatever you would never consider buying. In other words, the reality is you are being tracked online, much like on that supermarket, that's pretty well known. But it is fascinating to watch. I occasionally have some fun clicking on ads I'd never buy, just to see how many ads I'll then get. And it's remarkable to see. And what's getting weirder is it's not just clicking on the ads, it's staring at them for more than a second. That will also generate this stuff now. So they're watching every single click and moving along. And that's now moving into what they call IRL, in real life.
With two other more planned items on the AARP agenda, certainly is pushing for a tax credit for providing elder care support by family members, okay? And we'll try to move that forward this year. And the second thing is to nail down the authorization for absentee ballots, which again, it's important. And we think that this is the year that we can do it, so that if you have a valid identification and you would like an absentee ballot, you don't really need a medical excuse or a military excuse or a legal excuse. You're allowed to vote absentee. And that's a pretty big deal. And again, it's important for our community, because Blumenthal, Representative Blumenthal, heads up the legal committees involved in that, so we're working with them on that. One other thing that kind of more in the area of entertainment, the Darien Library is doing a couple of interesting things with music this winter and spring. Last week, the Jazz FC made a jazz program at the library. There were 130 people that came to it. It was between 3:30 and 4:30. I don't know if everybody knows this enough, but Westport has had a jazz club for years and years and years. And Jazz FC is a program where these leading musicians play and raise money for scholarships. And so it was the first time the Darien Library presented this. In the audience was a senior from Darien Library who's a trumpeter and who has gotten a jazz scholarship through their efforts, and it was terrific. And then starting, weather permitting, this Sunday, one Sunday a month for the next 4 Sundays, the libraries for the next 4 months is going to present a live from the Mets rebroadcast in the auditorium, which is something that I think is quite unique. The American Library Association has been pushing on this for years, and the rates that the Metropolitan charged were much too high. But this year they kind of last year lowered their expectations for fees, and our library has picked 4 operas that they're going to show. One in January, February, March, and April, and the first one is supposedly this coming Sunday, and I'm going to be the volunteer that talks about the operas and the broadcast,
Oh,
because I
fantastic.
work with the library and selecting from the 106 operas.
So what'd you select?
Yeah.
La Boheme?
You gotta come.
Oh, come
Well, you know, I'll just give you a couple teasers.
Why don't you start singing a couple of them? Try to get
You'd never recognize them. The Metropolitan Opera put some limits on what they've broadcast recently, what they're broadcasting currently, and what they're broadcasting in the future. The second constraint, which opera fans like me don't like, is we only can have the Darien Library's community room for 3 hours. So it eliminates the Meistersinger from Nuremberg, the Ring Cycle. So for those of us that like 5-hour operas, no good. But there are plenty of operas that are 2 and 3 hours long that are going to be presented. So
That's great.
and it's going to be, I think, a real fun mix. So
Very cool.
come if you can. Sunday, 2 o'clock.
And you won't tell us what it is.
Well, yeah, I'll tell the first one is the Magic Flute.
Nice.
All right. The first one is the Magic Flute.
See, that's why you're better than me. You got it out of it, Mike.
Well, no, because it's public already. It's already.
If you look at our monthly calendar of events.
Look at what's in
Why not share it right
It's
here?
on the Darien Library website, and if you're a
Yeah,
member
it's
of At
already
Home in
there.
Darien, you certainly should.
And if
know
you
about
clicked on it, you would end up getting lots of opera stuff.
Yeah, you will.
Suddenly becoming an
You'll become an
aficionado.
aficionado like Peter, exactly.
This week.
Anyway,
That's good. Anything else?
that'll do it.
All good. Any questions for Peter?
30th. Good.
Hearing none. Chris, what's going on at Home in Darien?
Thrown off by a 5-hour opera. Wow. That's kind of takes some
That's a
dedication.
That's when you get your money's worth.
Like a double overtime basketball game.
Yeah, well, a couple of quick things. We're starting to ramp up, getting very busy, kind of quiet post-holidays and with some of the weather. But we've got a couple of events, noteworthy events, very short span in terms of opportunities. We've got a event Thursday, tomorrow, at Car on Dell, the Indian restaurant in the Good Wife Center, and that's part of our Out and About Eats program. And for a flat rate of $20, it's all inclusive of the menu and includes tax and tip. So it's, so far we've got 16 people who signed up for it, 16 seniors. So those are going great. We're working on the February schedule, we'll publish those and our different materials. Also, on February 1st, Sunday, February 1st, we had received tickets, we had purchased tickets from Orchestra Lumos for Fantasia, which is the playing of the original Disney movie with Orchestra Lumos and Michael Stern, who will be leading that live. And The reason why we've got to move quickly is we've sold 10 of those, and by end of day today, if we don't use the remaining, we're going to send those back to Orchestra Lumos because they've almost sold out otherwise. So we've been doing a good job, thanks to Sue, in getting first opportunity to get some tickets, and we'll do more of those moving forward. And January 25th, as Peter mentioned, on Sunday, events like that at the library, just to let everybody know in town. We promote those in our monthly calendar events, and yes, we had the Magic Flute identified in that, but we will provide rides to any of those events for anybody who is needing it. So again, February calendar is being put together. We're going to go to a couple new restaurants, and we'll be announcing those the next couple of days.
And the van will take people to.
The van will take
to
people,
Fantasia.
yeah, van is taking people, good point. Van is taking people to Fantasia.
So you've got your ride
We
right
will-
from the town hall.
Right, we'll leave from here, no sense worrying about parking in Stamford. We'll take you right to the back of the theater and get a special entrance, and it
Nice.
works out well, yeah.
So we meet here.
We'll meet here, yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for all your good work, Chris, appreciate it. Any questions for Chris? Hearing none, do we have any other old business?
Not old, but new.
We'll take it.
Can we, I have a number of friends who play pickleball, and it seems that the courts are not in great shape, that they really do need to be resurfaced. They're divots and bumps that make it dangerous and the majority of people who play pickleball are indeed seniors. And even some of the fencing has issues where bars have come down on the sides. And I just would like to have us perhaps even write a letter to Park and Rec, voicing our concern that every time I know Senior Men's brings it up, but other individuals, they're told, well, it's not in the budget, but maybe it should be put in the budget. And I think we should champion safe pickleball courts so that our seniors aren't in jeopardy.
Okay, so I'll push back a little bit, just so you hear this, because back when we were arguing about what was then on Edgerton Street, when I went before the selectmen on this issue, on cleaning up, they said, we're gonna shut it down, okay?
What? Shut
The
it
senior
down.
center on Edgerton Street, okay? You keep bringing this crap up, we're gonna shut it down because it's not safe. So before we make that move, I just wanna make sure we're all aware, and to my mind, this is what brings this up, okay? Which is once you bring a safety issue up, okay, be aware we get pushback if they shut them down. In other words, we don't know that. We assume pickleball is so popular, they will end up fixing it and everything else, but we also have to be aware of the possibility that they say, forget it, we're not gonna do that. Okay, I'm hearing you,
Yeah.
but so I'm glad to support it.
But these are quite different scale of projects for one, and
I don't know the answer. I don't know how much it costs to fix a pickleball court.
it just seems to me that we should bring focus on the fact that this is something that should be attended to. They just redid all of the tennis courts at Cherry Lawn, and
They did not do the
it's
pickleball courts
curious
at
to
Cherry.
me why they did not include that, which is
Does,
has much more use.
you may know, is that a revenue generating?
Yes, it is.
So
Yep, they
people
pay
are
to-
paying to play at Cherry Lawn
They
pickleball?
do, and it's very
Okay.
popular. It's
Is it particular courts at Cherry Lawn? Is it particular courts elsewhere? Where
It's
is it?
just at Cherry Lawn.
Okay, so it's all, how many courts are we talking about?
I think there are 2 courts there. There was the
Oh,
old
that's
tennis
good.
courts, and they turned it into pickleball.
So there are a total of 4 pickleball courts that used to be on 2 tennis courts. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay. So, Sue, you give me the data, okay? With a motion, do we approve sending a letter to Parks and Rec to try to address this issue? Any other further discussion on this question?
To both.
But I want you to give me the data. I want, there are 4 courts, Cherry Lawn Park. Here are the issues that we're seeing, right? And you're gonna be our eyes on that question of, okay, there, for example, is a bar down a fence, there's something else, there are places on the court where it could be dangerous for somebody to,
Another thing that was brought to my attention is that they don't clean, when they have snow, it would be really great if they could clean the
I'm not
courts.
touching another snow
No.
issue. No, 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 no. I had enough of snow for a year, and there's more coming Sunday. So no, I'm not gonna call on the town to clean off the courts. Pickleball people can clean their own courts if they wanna play pickleball. Sorry, pickleball people, but I'm not gonna have the town is not gonna go out and shovel every time there's snow.
Well, Park and Rec clean a lot of things, but
Do they clean
anyway.
tennis courts? Probably not, 'cause there's no
Nobody's
snow
playing
during tennis
Nobody's
season.
playing tennis court.
Do they clean,
They
here's a paddleball
They-
court.
bet
They
they
clean
clean-
paddle at Weed Beach.
Okay.
They do clean the paddle courts, so, yeah,
Okay.
that's a winter sport.
So I'm gonna object to that one being in the letter, but I'm only one person. Do other people want the snow in the letter?
No.
Okay, so we're back to fixing the courts.
Okay, but just remember what Joe said. How long have you been waiting to get your wood shop safety issues fixed?
Couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, okay? If suddenly you can't play pickleball because it's not safe and they're waiting to maintenance, the people who are playing.
I'm not saying it's not safe, but these are things that should be addressed.
Okay, so we have to be careful in our letter then.
Yes.
That's where I'm going with this.
That's the point.
Now,
It's gonna be just
obviously,
like
there are
Pear
people
Tree
are
Point.
playing there.
How happy are
but-
you now?
But this is something that should be addressed.
Yeah,
I'm with you, but again, Jim and I are on the same page on this. Once you bring up a question of safety, okay, then the possibility of shutting down until it's completely addressed is right on the table with town council.
We're concerned that future safety would be risky.
just say maintenance.
It needs to be maintained.
It needs to be maintained.
Don't use the word safety, just say maintain.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay,
take-
so
we'll take
I'm gonna
photos.
rely on Sue to get me the proper language, which we will then put in a letter from the commission relating to the maintenance of the 4 pickleball courts at Cherry Lawn Park.
Correct.
Right.
Do I have a
They're
motion
the
to approve
only-
said
only
letter?
pickleball courts.
Second, thank you, all in favor? Ah, okay, good, that was good new business, fascinating too. I mean, it's an interesting question of trying to find the right solution so they address it without shutting it down. Sir?
Joe, couple of other things. One of the things we were very, very successful last year, I thought, in having other commissions talk to us. Health, Parks and Rec,
Oh, sure.
Planning and Zoning.
Absolutely.
I think we should continue to go forward with that, maybe develop a schedule. One
I'm
of
not
the,
developing a schedule, let me tell you how it works. I call, and I beg, and I plead, and I beg, and I plead, and eventually I get a yes.
okay,
So it's not gonna be a schedule, but I promise you, I am still out there begging and pleading, and trying to get people to come, not just from town organizations, but from the broader community, as long as I can say this is going to be for seniors. What I welcome is, please give me more ideas, right? Who else can we bring in?
well,
Right?
one of the things that right now is this whole walkable community,
Yeah,
which
There's
is
a new
going to
commission.
affect, which is very much going to affect seniors in his information now, and it might make
do
sense.
we have a chair of that yet?
I don't know.
I think they're turning it over now. I can't, it's been on Channel 79 a bunch.
Okay,
I've
so
watched.
so my question is, once we get a spokesperson for that, I'd love to have that person come. Or so whoever would be willing to speak to us on that. Absolutely, that'd be great, that's one. Others?
Well, the other thing is, for example, I'd like to know the status of the Blight Board. I looked at the Blight Board's meeting minutes last week, I think it was 7 minutes long. Is everything under control in the Blight Board so that there's,
There are, right now, we have really dealt with everything that has been on our agenda. There are a number of houses that are, we've suggested for foreclosure that the selectmen are reviewing. And we have not had any new, one had a hearing, and we just have not had any new things presented. There are some in the pipeline, but the way it happens is that the officer of the fire marshal's office is alerted. He checks and sends a letter to the resident and gives them at least, time to repair the issue. And we just don't have anything coming up right
Right,
at the moment.
okay.
It
It's good news.
it completely varies, and we've had long meetings and short meetings, but just month to month, it's not gonna be steady.
Thank you.
Well, there's your report. Now, see, we got one for January. Anybody else have any other ideas? I love the walkability. We had the health person here. We've had Parks and Recreation here. And obviously bring people back. I think we're due for another P and Z, right? Beg, borrowing, and pleading. And so at the end of the day, definitely drop me an email. I had a great email with my friend right here on a potential new member. So I'm always available by email, as you know. Drop me emails with ideas or anything else. I'd love to get more speakers in, but it is amazing how people duck and cover. Other old or new business? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn the January meeting of the Commission on Aging? All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everybody. Great job. We got 4